first 100 questions, I took a lot of time. Then after that, I got a bit stressed out that अभी तो time बची नहीं है तो जल्दी जल्दी करना पड़ेगा. And I did, and I had about 10 minutes to 12 minutes left. And so I would say about 40 seconds, 45 seconds maybe at max. 45 seconds.
So that's under 1 minute, and that requires a lot of precision. I mean, that requires a lot of fast reading, because I think a lot of people missed out this time primarily because they were not able to read the questions in a limited time frame. So the new thing that I found, I mean, that's my opinion only at the moment, but I just wanted to confirm from you that it's not only about, I would say, accuracy, it is now about speed also. I mean, you need to be a speed king now to be able to read those long questions with long choices.
So I am Rick Laha. I'm a MBBS graduate from NRS Medical College, Kolkata, and I passed out my my MBBS in 2019. I completed my internship in 2020, like in February 2020.
Okay.
And then I started my preparation around February when my last posting was going on. Then I started my preparation. Yeah.
Okay. Sparsh sir, can you take the lead, please?
Yeah. So Nada, that means that's a double celebration from NRS. I mean, you and obviously you must be aware, Dr. R. M. Mohan, no?
Yeah, he's my friend. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Okay.
So can you just let us know, or can you just share us some secrets that the NRS people are following these days for getting such wonderful double-digit ranks?
I don't know. Maybe this time we did well. Like our batch, they did really well in INICET as a whole, and I'm really proud of my batch, to be very honest.
Well, that's amazing, Doc. What I wanted to know was that maybe some of your juniors at NRS, for that matter, the people at Darjeeling, for that matter, people in the neighboring states, as well as I mean throughout the country, they are very curious to know and would be very happy to have your guidance regarding when should they start be preparing for their PG entrance exams. I mean, would you recommend it to be started from like final year or internship, or I mean the trend these days is maybe sometimes even the first year of medical school. So what's the ideal time as per your own wisdom?
Okay. So my perception regarding postgraduate entrances, I think it might be a bit different from the usual thing. See, during my entire course, I followed the standard textbooks right from first year, and I never joined any coaching until about maybe like post internship like level, and I only followed the regular books. Like in first year, I did my BD Chaurasia and AKD, and for Gannon, and for biochemistry maybe Vasudevan and those books. And then in second year, I did my Robbins, and also only and like it isn't that I only used to read foreign author books or like that. Like whatever is required for the professional examination, I used to follow that till my final years. And actually, this trend of taking PG preparation from first year, second year, this is coming like, this has only been into existence in the last 2-3 years. It was not that prevalent during our time, like when we started our preparation. Like whenever we used to ask seniors, they used to always ask us to like go about it slowly and try to learn and imbibe all the clinical nuances and everything within ourselves, because at the end of the day, whatever we learn, we have to apply it in our medical field, and the application part is the most important. And so I would always say that just go about your clinical and standard textbooks, and then as you are done with all this, then you can start your preparation, maybe internship and post internship. But internship is really heavy in West Bengal, so it's a bit difficult. But if you are very motivated enough, then you can do it in internship as well, if you're motivated enough. I was not, to be very honest. So I started after my internship got over, and I got some time to ponder upon it. Like, yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Laha, I mean, a lot of people maybe who are listening to you across the nation, maybe somebody who's a final year student would be coming up with a question to you. Sir, you said just now that go about reading a standard textbook. But let us say we are looking at a standard textbook of medicine, like a lot of people recommend. I mean, they say Harrison. I don't know how many of them actually read it. I mean, is there a smart way of going about Harrison, or would you like now in a retrospect would kind of advise them to watch, let's say, Dr. Marwa sir's video and then go about reading the book? Or is there any other way that you can kind of guide them to go about reading medicine particularly?
Okay, so for medicine, I never did the main Harrison textbook, but the Harrison Manual of Medicine, like which is about 1,000 pages, that is a treasure. If I can say the least about it, like even in INI-CET, there were about 15 to 20 questions directly from that book, and directly graphs and flowcharts and the tables. They were taken up from that book, and questions were asked in the INI-CET. And see, if there is a guidance like Dr. Mavas's videos are concise, crisp, and to the point, and they make you understand the basic things and all the things that you require for the entrance examination. If anybody has access to that, then I guess it's better that they can watch the videos and then go about then go about the like the basic textbook. And it isn't that you have to only study Harrison. There are lots of books. You can study Davidson. You can study Matthews. Like there hasn't you don't have to study from only one source just because it's the gold standard. You can learn a subject in many ways.
I think that is a very pertinent point that you kind of made a mention. I sincerely believe it would bring a sense of relief to a lot of people who are not being able to kind of read Harrison. That it is not only Harrison which can be maybe referred. I mean, personally, I was very jittery about reading, let us say, a book like Park. So had somebody like Dr. Vivek Jain would have been there at that point of time, I would have actually laid myself and totally saluted him with the way what the kind of dramatization that he has, the transformation that is brought to the subject. So I mean, a lot of us actually feel jittery about those subjects only. Doc? First year anatomy is so very crucial to us. Second year Robbins. I mean, then Park, then Harrison. I mean, there are some subjects which are a bit, I would say, tricky for everyone. So people would be actually happy to have your guidance on that, right? And how do you actually rate the role of, let us say, the regular grant tests or the MCQ preparation? How do you actually kind of would guide them to go about it?
Okay. So one thing I would like to point out that rather than note learning and learning the videos and everything, QBank is of utmost importance. Like QBank highlights the most high yield points and the explanations given beneath that. They let you know that these topics are important. That these topics are important from that subject. So and I don't know, maybe it's a personal opinion, but I used to retain what I did in the QBank better rather than what I read in the notes. Maybe if I be very honest, maybe I have only retained about 50% of what I have read in the notes. But what I solved and resolved in the QBank, and that stayed with me. And when I was solving the paper, like maybe I haven't read that in a note, but maybe I have read some point about it in the QBank, and that came into my mind when I was solving the actual examination in the paper. And sometimes it will strike you, and that helps a lot. And one thing to note is that the first thing that comes to your mind during a paper, usually that is the correct answer. And usually we think that it's a INI-CET exam. Maybe they're thinking about something very complex, but it is usually the very simpler things that can go wrong. So that is the way I think about it.
Okay, great, Dr. Laha. I was listening to you and I realized that you have focused on few things. One was that build your conceptual base by reading the textbooks.
Yeah.
Second, attend your clinical postings very, very seriously.
Yes.
You can use a mixed approach. Third thing you said that should keep your motivation levels very, very high. And it was really good to see fourth one. I really like that one. You said that you have made the full utilization of the QBank to achieve such a superlative rank. Wow. Very nice, very nice. Now, Dr. Laha, can you suggest something to your fellow friends who could not clear the exam this time and they are looking at the next forthcoming exam? What few things they should focus on in the coming months?
Okay. So as we know that NEET PG has been postponed. It was supposed to happen on 10th of January. Now it's happening in March or April. So in these 3 months, like as I would have done, that I would have given at least one grant test every week with solving of at least 50 to 60 or even 100 MCQs per day, and going about the notes and mostly the high yield points, high yield areas. Like by now, most of the students have had an overview that okay, from this subject, these topics are important. So I would only ask them to go about, not to learn anything new, but to go about what they have already done in the last 7 or 8 months, and to always review your GTs that you give in the week. Like keep one day specifically for a GT and for reviewing the GT, because the GTs are usually structured in such a way that it asks the most important question that are likely to come in the exam. So GT review, at least one GT per week at least 50 to 60 MCQs per day should do the job, and not to be disheartened by the INI results, because one can never say out of 70,000 students that you will get a seat. Like it is very difficult to predict. Like I never predicted that I'll get a rank like this, and it is very difficult to say. I mean, even after giving the paper, I was not very sure about it. So one thing that we can do is just go about our preparation, not think too much, because even if we don't get it in INI, this is not end of the world. Like NEET is always there, and we are competing for a much larger quantity of seats there. So it's easier, I guess. I don't know. It's easier, I guess, to get a seat there. And our primary focus should be NEET PG. Like always, when you are starting our preparation as well, we should always think about keeping the January exams in mind, because approximately 10,000 clinical seats are there, if we look at it that way. And in INI, maybe only 200 for 200 to 300, 400 maybe. So the margin for error is there in NEET PG. Like if INI happens along the way, it's very nice that it has happened along the way, but it is not end of the world if you don't get into INI. You can always give your best effort for NEET PG.
I think that is a very pertinent and a very important message that you're giving to your fellows who are still preparing for an exam and maybe for some reason have been not able to get a decent rank.
Yeah.
So as you very rightly say, I mean, there are very few people who would be as blunt and as honest as you are, Dr. Laha. I must say that to you. You are actually talking about that in a very right spirit, that most of us, even during our preparation, focus mainly on the All India exam. And any rank that we got in a tertiary care institute exam, let's say the PG exam at that point of time or AIIMS exam, always used to be a kind of icing on the cake, but not the primary target for majority of us. So I think that is likely to reduce a lot of pressure on the people listening to you across the nation via this particular video. That's a very good message.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Baba sir?
Yeah, Doc. My question to you would be regarding the last 1 month of preparation. I mean, usually in the last 1 month, the pressure cooker situation is created. There is so much of internet chatter going on. There is a lot of, doubt also coming up that have I done the right thing? Would I miss out on some topics? Are there some topics that I have not studied well? So, I want to know your frame of mind. How were you reacting, or what were you doing 1 month before the exam?
Okay. So, sir, I had completed my first, I had completed my course, like the first reading at around August. So I had planned at least 2 revisions before my November exams. So I structured it that way that I always knew that there will be a little bit of delay. Like usually the AIIMS happens in first week of November, but like because of the COVID scenario, it will always be at the third week or second week or like that. So I structured my preparation that way that I would have at least 2 revisions. So automatically when the INI notification came out, it was about 50 days left for the exam, 50 days. So obviously there was a bit of panic going around that only one exam, what to do, what not to do. But I was quite clear that I have to complete my 2 revisions by that time. Whatever happens, I have to complete at least 2 revisions. Because at the end of the day, whatever have I read in like first reading, if you don't revise it, it is quite difficult to reproduce it in the exam. And last 30 days, what I mainly did was I made a list of high yield points, like high yield topics. Because as I've analyzed the last 5 years papers of AIIMS, that about 80% of the questions come from 30% of the topics that are being taught. 80% of the questions come from only 30 to 40% of the topics. Like for example, trauma. Be it surgical trauma or medical trauma, it constitutes a bulk of the questions of AIIMS. And even this year, there were about maybe 15-20 questions from trauma itself, and from clinical examinations and everything, and electrophysiology and everything. So these are some of the high topics that we need to focus upon right before going for AIIMS or INI CET exam. So last 30 days, I made a list of the topics and I made a day-wise schedule. that this day I'll do these topics on these subjects, like devote that amount of time for that subject. And I used to try to stick to a schedule, but obviously it is not possible. A lot of procrastination goes on, and then lots of banter and all that in our group and everything. But that is also required. It helps to keep your stress on the check a little bit. And so last 30 days, the main thing I did was the high yield topics, and I used PrepLadder a bit, and I also used Marrow, to be very honest. And from Marrow, I did the pearls.
That is really a wonderful analysis, Dr. Laha. So what I've understood by your talk, that it is not we require so much to study. We require पढ़ो उतना चाहिए जितना. मतलब systematic planning is more important rather than going and reading about everything. And you have proved it. Wow, amazing.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I feel the same as well.
So where exactly can we help to find you, Dr. Laha? A couple of, I would say, months down the line?
So I haven't decided yet. I'm still consulting my seniors and my parents about which branch to take, because I love everything about medicine and surgery and everything. I love everything about being a doctor. So no, I haven't yet developed a preference about which branch to take. So maybe in 3-4 days when the mock counseling comes, I have to make a decision.
Sure enough, Doc. It would be such a pleasure to actually see you in person as well. I hope as and when the COVID situation settles down, all of us can actually catch up live in person as well.
Yeah, definitely, sir. It would be a great honor to meet you in person. Yes, sir.
So I think we must thank you profusely for the time that you have rendered and the guidance that you have provided to the people who are going to be watching this video, Dr. Laha. Super congratulations to you again and your family as well. Convey our sincere regards to them. And I hope we would be having more wonderful people who would be getting equally wonderful results for us in the NEET PG as well.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I would say I actually focus more on faculties than on institutes. You should focus on topics from standard books. Just look at the old papers, just look at the topics and read. Some people think that reading Robbins or reading Park or reading Harrison means that you study the whole book line by line. No, that's not a decent approach. That's hilarious. You just look at the pictures, just look at the flowcharts, just look at the important points, just look at the highlights. That's all. And focus on that. Just to see what topics have been asked and know those topics. I don't think I've seen a single pathology picture based question which is out of Robbins. I don't think I have.
Absolutely.
But and the fact is, after second year, no one reads Robbins. Even in second year, no one reads Robbins these days.
Dr. Aryaman, I just noticed, I was listening
Yes, sir.
to you. You have made a very big jump from 473 rank to 63rd rank. So there is a jump of around 410
yes, sir.
ranks, right? 410 places you have jumped. So
Yeah.
can you pinpoint 2 or 3 things, take home points for your fellow friends who could not clear the exam this time, what they should do to make such a big jump like you have done successfully?
Sir, during the mid-year when I ranked 473, there were some crucial differences from where I stand right now. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't fully prepared. Sorry, I hadn't read very crucial subjects like I hadn't read community medicine. I even hadn't read general medicine formally. I mean, I knew things, okay, from my correlation with pathology and pharmacology. I remember I was doing pathology at that time, and pharma was left, medicine was left, the short subjects were left, PSM was left. Whatever I had as my residual knowledge, but what I had nothing to lose in that exam basically. So I went all out. I think I attempted, 187 questions out of 200, and lucky for me, those were correlated clinically. So I could figure out some options. I could figure out some cases. The difference in this time, I think my knowledge was much better. I had prepared these subjects multiple times, 2 or 3 revisions. Now I knew some very important aspects of community medicine and PSM and the same subject, anyways, PSM, pharma, medicine, and the short subjects I had done well. And this time that was a real game changer, because this time short subjects killed it. There were many questions. And 5-6 years back, you could neglect these subjects, but now you can't. So I had more knowledge. I had more confidence going into the exam. I attempted 195 questions. I think, yes, 195 questions out of 200. I could filter out options much better because I had solved many more questions. So I was much more familiar with, the types of questions, and that blind spot for the all except and none of the following are true except, those things were narrowed down, and I was much more focused, and I knew I had done it one time. So, and now I'm much better prepared. So चलो देखा जाए नीट तो है ही, देखा जाए देखे. And yeah, I think the stars were aligned that day for me, and I got it. Then here we are.
No, Doc, it's been great pleasure talking to you. And what I'll do is I'll just give you
Thank you, sir. You likewise.
Yeah, and once you disconnect from this call, I'll just give you a call. I'll give you a missed call, and you can just save my number. And we can touch. We can be discussing this over the next couple of days over WhatsApp and in person as well over the call.
Okay, sir. Surely, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for everything you do for the students, and it just makes our lives much easier. So thank you, sir. And I love those integrated sessions. Spar sir and Marwa sir, I love those integrated sessions.